Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today we're going to be going over the basics of Tableau. So I'm just going to give you kind of an overview of all the things that you can see here in this view and how you would pull data in to make visualizations, things like that. So first of all, you can see I'm connected to a data source. This data source is the orders sample data source that comes with Tableau. If you need to change the data source, you would go up here, add the data source, select whatever type of data you're connecting to, be it a database of some sort, Microsoft Excel, an Access database, all the various options you have right there. And then when you do connect to a data source, what you're going to see is it imports all of the dimensions and measures. So generally the dimensions are text, geographical data. You can see date, you have a little date icon there next to it. You can see there's some numbers, so IDs. Sometimes Tableau doesn't realize that these IDs are actually dimensions, so it puts them down in the measures, but it's easy enough to grab them and drop them up into the dimensions. So now that we have our dimensions and our measures, how do we start building something? So one way to do it is just to double click, and Tableau will try to figure out where to put that up on its own. So you can see for measures, it'll start tossing stuff in the rows if nothing else is there. And you can see we have a graph. That's just the sum of all sales in our orders database here. And then a thing that's helpful for new users is the Show Me button. So you can see what visualizations you can do. The ones that aren't grayed out are the ones that you can use based on the data you have in your view right now. But if you look at the grayed out ones, it'll tell you at the bottom what kind of data you would need to pull that off. So here for the text tables, you would need one or more dimensions and one or more measures. And so you can select those things and then it'll update your data as needed. So you can see in this case it dropped that sum of sales from the rows into the text. Now if you want to start building, let's say the product name, I want to put that in the rows. That's easy enough. You grab it and you drag it and then it'll start showing in the rows. And maybe on the columns I want to put the order date. Just do that and it'll automatically start aggregating any dates first by years, but you can click this plus sign and it'll go down to quarter, month, and even down to day. Let's go ahead and take these out. So you just grab them and drag them out if you don't want them. So we've got a view here. Now if we want to kind of change the design a little bit, again we could go to the Show Me and I could get a bunch of different graphs. I could do a stacked bar. I could do, pie chart, various things. Let's do something like a tree map. So this shows you a view that has various things. So you can see there's a size thing that you can drag things onto. So if you just drag your dimension here, it'll drop it into the size. And you know it is that because it's got the little icon that represents the size there. And that determines how big the box is here. So these boxes are sized by the sum of their sales. So the bigger boxes have more sales. And then they're also colored by the sales. So it's a little redundant in this case, but the ones with more sales are a little darker. Let's go ahead and change that to something more interesting. Let's say product category. We'll drag it into the color shelf. So now you can see the different product categories are colored differently. So you see the technology is in red, the furniture is in blue, and we've got the office supplies in yellow. So in the text column, that's what shows up as text. These boxes are a little too small to show the text. So let's actually drag this category into the filter and minimize some of the data that's in there. So let's just select only the furniture. So now you can start to see some of the text because some of them are big enough to show the text. So if the box was big enough, it would show the product name and the year of the order date. And then we have the pages shelf. So let's say we want to do order date in the pages shelf, and then you'll see it puts this little box here that shows you the year, and then you can just click through the years, so it'll change the years, and you can see how it changes over time. So any dimension you want to see how it changes, you can put it in the pages shelf, and then it will kind of play a video of it over time. And if I go ahead and hit the play button there, it'll just do it automatically. Let's see what else is good to show right now. So you'll also see this presentation mode. So if you go ahead and click that, it'll show it in a larger view of your screen. So if you're presenting it to people, it's easier for them to see and they're not distracted by all these tool buttons and things like that. Also, you can add new sheets like you would in Excel by just clicking these buttons. You can also add a dashboard, which we'll kind of get into later. It's basically just a collection of different sheets. And that's kind of all of the basics you have right here. So you just drag things into the columns or the rows, sort of like you would in an Excel pivot table. If you want to do filtering, you can drag it into the filters here. And then to display the data, you can also drag things into sizes, colors, labels, etc. to display the data in different ways. If you're new to it, the Show Me button is probably the easiest way to create these nice visualizations. It'll figure out how to do it for you if you have the right amount of data in there. So you can kind of see these visualizations created automatically just based on the data you have. And that's kind of just a basic tutorial on Tableau. Hope you guys learned something. Thank you very much.